Hello, fellow survivors. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about journaling. I believe it is one of the top two things I've done in my recovery to make my life the best possible life it can be. There's those moments we've had as heart attack survivors, or any trauma survivor probably, where you go to get in bed at night and you suddenly hits you, what if I don't wake up in the morning? And you're filled with anxiety, and sometimes terror, and you know you're not going to sleep. And then you're going to feel like crap the entire next day. And 7.5 years later, I had my heart attack in August 2015. I still have those moments sometimes. They're rare, but the difference between early in my recovery and now is that I don't let them control me. I don't let the anger and anxiety and depression overwhelm me. I think journaling is a huge tool that helped me in doing that. So the number one reason I started journaling in the first place is because I had my heart attack in August 2015, and I wasn't diagnosed with a brain injury until May 2016. So there were a lot of months there in between where I was trying to figure out what was going on with my life. At least one day a week, I'd have to lay in bed in a dark room without any lights, not doing anything, couldn't look at my phone, couldn't look at my computer, couldn't look at a TV. And it was kind of honestly a hell for a guy that likes to be doing things and likes to be productive. Couldn't read a book. It sucked. And I wanted to know what was wrong. So I started tracking things that I thought might be hurting me and might be making my headaches worse. And over that time, the number one thing I found was sleep. Now, we'll go into these things a little bit later. I used journaling to track, for example, diet, because a lot of people are convinced that diet makes a big difference on how they feel day to day. I never found that to be the case, but I did track my diet for a while. I tracked my activities. I tracked my sleep. I tracked how much alcohol I drank, which was always too much. And up until April 2020, which I finally quit alcohol for good. But the number one thing it also did for me is that it helped me to get the feelings out of me. There are scientific studies that show if you deal with your emotions through journaling, in other words, if you get them out of you, that you're emotionally better off. And I think all of us deal with that anxiety and anger and depression issues, and we need a way to alleviate that. For me, I wasn't going to be a guy that was ever going to go to therapy. I just never felt like I needed it. Plus, remember I said that part about me always being productive. I felt like therapy would take away from that. So journaling was, I don't want to say it was a complete substitute for therapy. For me, it was. I don't know if other people should have that attitude, but keep in mind, I'm coming to you as a survivor, not a doctor or a therapist. One of the other big things that I had to resolve early in my heart attack, after my heart attack, was weird pains. I have a stent. Part of my heart is dead because I was dead for too long. You know, after you have your heart attack, you start paying so close attention to your heart, you can feel every heartbeat. And sometimes you just get these weird pains. And I knew that if I said anything out loud about them, I would probably go to the ER. So I had to learn how to not put the word chest next to the word pain in any sentence I used. So I did use the journal to track, what are these things about? When do I get these chest pains, or when do I have these pains, and what did I do before them may have caused them? I think as survivors, we deal with the anger issues. And for me, I was angry a lot about the things I was never going to be able to do again. I spent a lot of time in my life doing outdoor activities. One of my favorite trips I ever took in my life was with my youngest son when he was about 12. Spent a week in the Boundary Waters canoeing in northern Minnesota, and nobody wants me doing that stuff anymore. I did a lot of fishing. I did a lot of hunting. Nobody wants me going out into the woods by myself. And there were a lot of things like that I was very depressed about. And really what I did is I put them down in journals, and I got that out of my system. And how I journaled about it was I would have almost like an imaginary friend. And I'll go into this in a different video about how you can start journaling. But for me, I just always pretended there was somebody there that I was talking to, whether it was an imaginary therapist, whether it was a friend of mine, an imaginary friend of mine, or honestly, whether I was like Les Nessman of WKRP in Cincinnati and speaking in front of a large audience. But I can't emphasize how important it is for me on a daily basis to continue journaling, because I know that this recovery is not done, and it'll never be done. And I'll be doing this until the day I'm finally done for good. I was going to say the day I die, but I already did that. And I think journaling helps me track my life. It helps me track about how I feel about my life. And it helps me get things out of my system that maybe I would take out on other people. And it helps me understand where I am in relationship to my health, my mental health, and the world around me. So I can't encourage you enough that if you haven't considered it, to start journaling. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to this channel because I plan on doing more videos about how I deal with recovery, and thank you.